Let's go. Welcome back into the Scooshy Sport podcast in continuation of the NRL Season Team Previews for 2026. We are now in the new year. No more saying next year. We are now into a new footy year. How bloody good. I am keen as we are less than 5 weeks away from the first preseason game. Must mean we're under, 9 weeks until the first Vegas games. Cannot bloody wait. Oh my goodness, I am excited. So this is the 9th installment of our team previews. We're doing the Gold Coast Titans in this episode here. So do bring out 2 a week every single Tuesday for you. So you will have the Titans in this episode and you will have the Dragons coming out literally the same day. So if you're just coming from the Titans, remember to go ahead and watch the Dragons one, as I said, coming out at the same time. If you just come from the Dragons one, welcome. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember to go check out the other 8 that we've done. So 9 and 10 are coming out on Tuesday morning for you. The other 8 we've done Manly, we've done the Raiders, we've done Cowboys, we've done the Warriors, we've done the Doggies, we've done the Dolphins, we've done Tigers, and we've done the Sharkies. So pretty much halfway through the NRL, all the teams previewing their season coming out for 2026. And honestly, a lot of those teams are hanging in the bottom 8 so far, including these 2 teams now that I've done. So there's going to be a lot of good previews left to come out. A lot of still good teams. Still got the Storm, still got the Broncos, still got the Panthers to come, still got the Roosters to come as well. There's going to be a few good teams coming. I cannot bloody wait to do them. But let's get straight into the team preview for the Titans. And if you've obviously listened to our other previous ones, all pretty much goes about the same. If this is your first one watching, we do go through the last year and how the Titans went in 2025, looking at the sort of stats, a little bit of recap, and then mainly looking at the 2026 gains and losses player-wise. Who they've gained for the season, who they've signed on for the next couple of years, and who has left the club and moved on to other clubs, and how it's going to impact the team and the 1-17 heading into this year. Then we're going to look at their best 1-17 heading into round 1 in 2026. Obviously, if there is an injury, like a long-term injury, they're not playing round 1, I'll definitely mention that they will be featuring in the best 1-17 later on in the season there. But always good to get a look at where the team is heading, like on paper, heading into round 1. And then we're going to finish off just analysing their draw as well heading into this year. So some teams have definitely got their fair share, quite and easy. Some teams have definitely got it a little bit harder, for sure. That's how a draw is meant to work. That's just, you draw the short string. Sometimes you get it good, sometimes you get it bad. But without further ado, let's get stuck into the Gold Coast Titans, who I have coming 15th this year. 15th on the ladder out of 17 teams, so still hanging in the bottom 4. The thing with the Titans is, like, with the ladder, I've gone on, if you missed my ladder predictor video, it came out sort of 4 or 5 weeks ago now, racking up plenty of views. Very controversial, by the way. Holy dooly, especially with the Dragons there, but I've kept my ladder predictions exactly the same for every single team all the way through these previews, just so it's nice and fair, not chopping and changing any of my opinions. Maybe I will heading into once we see some preseason, once we see how teams are sort of looking in preseason. But for the moment, I do have the Gold Coast Titans coming in 15th. I can't imagine that changing too much heading into round 1. So bottom 4 yet again for the Gold Coast, another tough year. But I don't think it's going to be all doom and gloom for the Titans, I guess. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Having a look at their 2025 season, so last year they did finish 16th, second last on the table, winning 6 games and losing 18. So only winning 25% of their games. Attack-wise, we know their attack can be so good on one day and absolutely dog crap on another day. They finished 11th for the season, scoring 520 points. Defense-wise, this is where the big concern is and why they finished 16th. They finished last for the season, conceding 719 points. That is a lot. That's about 30 points a game. You play 24, it's literally 30 points a game. That is just huge. A massive, massive number. You cannot be winning footy games conceding 30 points a game, and we saw it last year. When they won a game, it was like 38-32, or 36 to 24, something egregious, something just barbarical, just craziness, right? And they just play these super high scoring games. The totals are set in the 50s usually for a match with another team, and like you just can't trust the Titans. Like, and said, how do you trust a team that's got literally the worst defense in the comp? So that was a points difference of minus 199, which is massive. That's on, average nearly losing by 10 points every game. Looking at their new coach for heading into this year. Very excited about this one. Finally gets his opportunity as a head coaching role in the NRL. Josh Hannay. He's contracted 3 years until the end of 2028. Obviously, there is the rumors going on that Bellamy may join the Titans next year in 2027, which would force Josh Hannay to be an assistant once again. For me personally, I think that's just a massive kick in the dick for a guy like Hannah. He deserves his opportunity, and just because you've got this finally may have opportunity to sign a marquee coach, you're going to put the guy that you signed down. He hasn't even coached a game yet. What happens if Josh Hannay absolutely kills it for the Titans this year as coach? You just don't know. I think it's a massive kick in the dick to Josh Hannay. Being a coach part of Queensland and been involved in the NRL a very, very long time. He finally gets his opportunity as an NRL head coach. You've got to give him a shot before you take this plunge as Craig Bellamy, and I just think it would be a very bad look. And I think Josh Hannay would be... How do you stay at the club knowing that you've signed for 3 years, you've finally got your opportunity, and now just because Craig Bellamy may be open on the market next year, that they sign him and then you're booted out straight away? You haven't even coached a game yet? Not sure how I would really think about that. But I do have high praise and high expectation for Josh Hannay. Maybe not quite this year. We do tend to see in the NRL new coaches not strive straight away. It does take a little bit to build the systems. It doesn't, Rome wasn't built overnight kind of thing. We saw it with the Eels. Jason Riles came out about a year ago and he said this is going to be a rebuilding year for the Eels. And boy, did we see it for the first half of the year. But felt like after Origin, when Moses came back, it all just really did click for the Eels. And you saw what had been happening at training and sort of the belief in the players, and it's all starting to come together. I think we'll see a similar thing with the Titans near the end of this year. I just think most of the year is going to be a big struggle considering how talented the other teams are. Yes, the Titans have the ability to go and score 30-plus points against a team, but how do you improve that defense so much in 1 year is what I want to know. I'm very, very curious to see, though. Let's get into their 2026 gains and losses. There's not a lot of massive marquee signings, right? Not a lot of massive ones. We know the issue with the Titans, right? And that is holding their spine and picking their spine. Probably helps, honestly, a little bit that Kieran Foran has now retired at the end of last year. Obviously, Foz, great player, great career, but it probably does help the Titans a little bit in just sort of cementing what their spine is going to look like, which obviously we know with Keanu Keaney, AJ Brimson, Jaden Campbell, you've got to manage to fit these three guys, and they've tried to fit them in the spine for felt like so long and get Kieran Foran in there. Obviously, Keanu Keaney was out pretty much all of last year, pretty much all of it, right? Now he's back and healthy, pending no injuries in preseason or training, which I hope definitely doesn't happen. But if you look at this Titans signing this year, there's obviously not a lot here that would actually make their best one to 17 for me. But let's get into it. There's a couple. I won't mention them all, but I'll get into a couple of them. So the first one I want to mention is Max Fine. Came from the Dolphins. What did he have? 1 year, I think, there last year, or maybe even two. Coming from the Dragons before that, he just didn't really quite get a heap of opportunity at Dolphins. Maybe he will at the Titans. He's not making my starting 1 to 17, but the opportunity is definitely there for a guy like Max Fine if he does take his opportunity. 2-year signing for Max Fine. So, look, if a door opens up if there's an injury or poor form from the starting wingers, maybe he pops in there or a starting center. But he's got a good opportunity. I think he's a really talented player. The other one I wanted to mention is Lockie Ilias. Very interesting one because we know, straight off the bat, he's not going to get a starting spot in this team. Maybe there's a role of him at a number 14 role potentially. Maybe play a little bit of hooker, while Sam Verrills was on the bench or something. He's mainly in the halves though, right? You'd have to probably see an injury to AJ or Jaden Campbell for him to get some game time for the Titans. I'd say he's going to be seeing a lot of Q Cup coming from the Dragons last year, where he didn't get... Well, he played the first few rounds, and then he apparently got benched due to apparently his poor defensive reads and technique. And apparently that wasn't the go. So, he's probably got a little bit, steam behind his, coming out of his ears, like ready to sort of see if he can have an impact on the team. But for round one, I don't expect them to get picked. And then the other one's Curtis Morin, a guy, a little bit of a journeyman happening around the Bulldogs here and there. Curtis Morin didn't get a whole lot of game time with them, but now he's come to the Titans. Maybe he features somewhere in there later in the year, not making it the 1 to 17 for me to start the year. If you're looking at the best team, he should get a little bit of game time. Injuries happen all over the place. Maybe a little handy replacement. And then you got a guy like Luke Summerton as well, coming from the Titans. He's a little handy backup dummy half. If a Sam Verrills goes down, maybe a Chris Randall goes down or something, he can jump in. A little bit of injection of pace. Obviously being surrounded by the Penrith system for a few years now, so he's got plenty of talent. He's going to have good systems built, being surrounded by Ivan Cleary and Mitch Kenny, who I think is really stellar. He should be a hard worker. Would like to see Luke Summerton sort of strive in an environment like Gold Coast and really see what he's made of. If we look at their losses, look, there's a few sort of bigger losses. Your losses are bigger than the wins, for sure, your gains. I'm going to go through the main key ones. Regan Campbell-Gillard off to the Super League for the London Broncos heading into this year. Guy that was sort of in the middle there, he probably mainly had his prime of his career when he was at Parramatta. Went to the Titans, was it last year, maybe the year before. Didn't too much, did a whole lot. He used to play Origin. He was always in that Origin sort of window there. Didn't feature a lot last year. You've got Tino's brother Isaac Fa'asuamaleaui. He is off to the Super League as well for the Catalan Dragons. I would have loved to see Isaac get a bit more opportunity. I think where this team is heading, I think he's getting, aging, getting a bit more mature. I think it kind of sets a limelight for me where Tino is potentially going in the future. How long does he think maybe that, now he doesn't want to be at the Titans? I definitely have an opinion on that. When I get to Tino in the lineup there, I would have liked to see Isaac get a little bit more opportunity. I think maybe this year if he had a starting role or something in there, I think just more minutes coming off the bench even. Would have liked to see Isaac strive. I think he'll absolutely dominate Super League though. He's way too good for Super League in my opinion. The big one is, yes, he didn't play a whole lot of games last year, but David Fifita heading off to Souths. Looks like he just didn't get along with Des Hasler in the end. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure if it was personal stuff, like mental issue stuff. He's off to a new club now, fresh start. He always had issues last year with injury. He's playing Q Cup, and you're thinking, what the hell is he doing in Q Cup? He's way too good for Q Cup. A guy that was literally playing Origin 2-3 years ago. A guy who's just an absolute weapon. But then he'd get off. Honestly, if he got an opportunity for the Titans and got on the field, his effort off the bench would be ghastly. It would be appalling. And you just think, mate, what's happened? I just don't understand what has happened. You were one of the potential is still there, the ceiling is there. One of the best second rowers in the comp. You're an absolute, got so much speed. You got footwork, and your size of you is huge, right? When he was at the Broncos, when Marquis signing at the Titans for $1 million a year. And you saw it at the start, but then I don't know if he's just stopped working hard. I'm not sure what's going on. If he's fit at South, he will absolutely kill it. Absolutely dominate at South. 100%. I have no doubts about it. Just seems he didn't get, I'm not sure what was going on, but opportunities that he did get last year off the bench looked like he just did not want to be there, man. Just didn't want to be there. He had to go somewhere else to get a fresh start. Finally going down to New South Wales as well. Honestly, if he goes successful at Souths, he's probably going to be in the Origin chat once again, and it wouldn't shock me either. All right, next one. We just spoke about him. Kieran Foran has retired, so he is a loss in the halves for the Titans. I rate Foz so highly. Such a good player, even right up until the Kiwis at the end of last year. So good. Premiership winner as well. Unbelievable Kieran Foran. What a player. Played, I'm not sure how many games he played. Did he click 300? But... played for Manly, played for the Doggies, played for the Titans a little bit as well. But his kicking game was awesome for the Titans. Exactly what they needed. Going to be interesting to see how the kicking game of AJ and JC, Jaden Campbell, do for this year. Carter Gordon heading back off to rugby union. Already played games for the Wallabies again. Carter Gordon injured for pretty much most of the year for the Titans last year. Played a little bit of Q Cup, but honestly, the team was very much handled like quite a lot of talent in the backline for him to sort of get his opportunity. I think he played literally one game on debut in round 27 against the Tigers. In the centres there, does he come back in the future? I'm not quite sure. Did he come here just to potentially try and build his skill and go back? I'm not quite sure. Well, yeah, I'm not quite sure. Carter Gordon just didn't get any really good opportunity, I guess, with the Titans to sort of show his talent and strive. But we know the talent he's got when he plays for the Wallabies and rugby union, although in the season 2 he did not play very well. But, you know, he's not a massive loss, but he's still a loss to the Titans as a backup option there in the back line. One for me, this is really weird, and I absolutely love this signing for my boys, but it's AKP, Alofiana Kamperera. Just really can't quite put my finger on what happened with AKP last year. 2024, he absolutely brained it. 2023, 2023, absolutely brained it, right? As well. That was his rookie season in 2023. Absolute speed stuff. Probably the fastest winger in the comp, right? Scores plenty of tries, scored over 20 tries in 2023, scored plenty in 2024 as well. And then last year, I just don't know what happened. They had this thing where they wanted to put Jalen de Groot on the wing instead of AKP. I'm not sure if something happened with the coach. I'm not sure if something happened in the office. I'm not sure if he wasn't training hard enough. I'm not sure if he had a lingering injury that no one knew about. I just didn't understand why AKP never, ever got his opportunity. I just don't get it. I cannot wait for him at the Warriors. Cannot wait. I think it's such a good signing. We know the talent. I cannot believe AKP didn't hardly play for the Titans last year. Still absolutely shocks me. Who else you got? Oh, this one is interesting. Josiah Pahulu. If you haven't heard of Josiah Pahulu, didn't get a lot of sort of games with the Titans, but holy dooly, an up-and-coming front rower coming in for the Storm. He is going to be absolutely immense for the Storm. I cannot believe Pahulu has left the Titans. The Titans didn't try and keep this guy. Storm know exactly what they're getting and exactly know what they're doing, signing this guy. So yeah, big loss. Not now, but maybe definitely in the future years. Josiah Pahulu heading off to the Storm. And then a guy like Tom Weaver, he was here and there. He is off to the Super League as well. Big thing for the Titans is they've signed like most of their spine to big contracts, right? Like Jaden Campbell's now to end of 2031. I think AJ's end of 2030, I want to say. I think Keanu Kinney has a pretty solid contract as well. Bo Fermor end of 2029 as well. So they've got literally like their main key 4 players that they need is locked in for quite a number of years, and they can sort of build around that, which will please Josh Hannay, right? The last thing you want to be doing is flicking like your halves around every year, switching them around. So it's got a good foundation there for the next few years, I think, to build something and get Gold Coast Titans, get Gold Coast Rugby League back on the map, because they started so well when they first entered the comp back in 2007, I believe it was. You know, made top 4, making finals, and then they've just fallen off a cliff. So many coaches, so many like wooden spoons and downfalls, and then now they've got the talent, but I said the defense will win them games, and they just weren't showing any defense. And I just want to see a bit more heart and a bit more effort with the Titans heading into 2026. Let's look at their best 1-17 and the rest of their squad heading into round 1 for 2026. They have got the Sharkies in round 1 to open their season down in Sydney as well at Cronulla. But fullback Keanu Kinney, say less, right? Missed a lot of last year. Literally missed 20 games with his neck injury. It was so good to have him back, and holy dooly, he finally started for the Kiwis at fullback. Bruh, absolutely brained it. He's got to be a fullback. He's honestly my pick, literally at fullback for Supercoach. He's going to absolutely kill it. He is so talented for the size he is as well. Oh my goodness gracious me, he is good. On the wings, my mistake. I do have Max Fine starting on the wing there, and I've got Jojo Fafita on the other wing. This is going to be really cool to see Max Fine get his opportunity in the starting spot at the Titans. Hopefully he can consolidate that. And then Jojo Fafita. Holy Julie, this dude is up and down. His up is so bloody good. His down, oh my goodness, he had a lot of errors last year in his bad games. Hopefully we can see the brighter end of the stick with Jojo Fafita. He can score plenty of tries for the Titans. His defense as well seriously did need some working on. Holy dooly, it needs some working on. Same goes for this center I'm about to name, Philip Sami as well. Again, on attack, blistering, absolute weapon. His defensive reads last year, weren't that great. Your other center I've got there is Brian Kelly, so the centers are staying the same for 2026. Do not mind the center duo, honestly. If they can just improve their defense, the attack's going to be fine. The attack is not the massive issue with this team, as we spoke about. It is the defense, literally last. Their attack is 11th, and they had literally Keanu Keeney out for most of the year. Jaden Campbell was injured a little bit. They're flicking that, switching their halves all the way around. They just couldn't quite get a consistent halves and backline going. But the defense was shocking. That doesn't come from the backline. That comes from the middles. That comes from effort as well. If you're last in defense, it's not your defensive read. A little bit of defensive reads and technique. That is effort as well. You've got to want to defend there. In your halves, no-brainer here. AJ Brimson and Jaden Campbell. Looks like this will have to be the halves, or not have to be. It will be the halves pairing for the Titans this year. There's always talk about with Brimson. Is he a fullback? Is he a center? I think if you get him in center, he's not getting enough of the ball. I don't think you can push Keanu Keeney back. And I think 6 fits perfect for AJ Brimson. You got to put him in a position where he's getting a lot of the ball. He is immensely, immensely talented. We saw it in the Ashes, actually, when he got an opportunity to come in at fullback for England. I thought he was really good. I thought he was really good. And now you've got to have this, if they stay healthy, you never know the ceiling with the Titans. It's just so hard to look at. When I look at this, look at the potential of this team, when I look at a new coach, but then I look at the rest of their squad, there's injuries. If there's injuries, I think they're pretty screwed. If this spine can stay healthy of Keeney, Brimson, Campbell, and then Verrills, I think they can put something together. And you've got some good forwards there happening as well. It's just if they get unhealthy and injuries, I think it could be problems for the Titans next year. But I mean, Jaden Campbell, AJ Brimson literally could be one of the most dynamic duos heading into 2026 halves-wise. Love Jaden Campbell. We know how talented he is. Son of Preston Campbell. Get him the ball. Get these two the ball. You've got to feed them the ball. They can get a better kicking game. But attacking with the ball, they can put set pieces together. They can score their own tries. They are so dangerous with the ball. We know what the potential is. I don't have to tell you that. In your hooker role, Sammy Verrills, come from the Roosters a couple years ago now, getting his starting role. I really like Sammy Verrills. Fit as a bloody fiddle. Really good running game as well. I think he fits in really well to this Titans team. In your forward pack here, I really like this forward pack. You got Mo Fodawaker, literally an Origin caliber forward there. Absolute weapon. He's not a guy that's going to, play you 60, 65 minutes like your Terrell Mays or your Payne Haas's or your Tinos. He's going to get you 40 to 45 very, very solid minutes. So if he can really put in, get over 100 meters on the advantage line, make his tackles, that's why he gets picked for Origin, right? And he's an absolute tank, really much a power forward. Then you got Jamin Jolliffe. Jamin Jolliffe is so bloody underrated. He just goes so far under the radar, just gets in, gets his work done. His effort is there. That is the main thing you want to see with a guy like Jermaine Jolliffe. The effort is there to want to play and enjoy his rugby league as well. In your second rowers, you got Cleese Haas there on the... Was it there on the right? I don't know. I forget which side Beau Fermor plays. I think he plays a little bit of left. But Cleese Haas there on the right. So brother of Payne. Cleese Haas, what is he, second, third year of starting in this Titans team now, getting more opportunities, which is cool. Think he'll only mature and get better every year, right? That's how it should be if you're training well. And then Beau Fermor on the other side there. Would have loved to see Beau Fermor get more Origin time. Honestly, I think he is so good. I think you put him at center, he does really well. He's such a weapon. He's got like Dylan Lucas vibes kind of for me, like the Queensland version of it. Love Beau Fermor. And then number 13, let's talk about him for a little bit. The captain, Tino Fa'asuamaleaui, signed this 10-year contract a few years ago now. Massive, massive money. Marquee player of the Titans. Tino, he is such a good player. He literally gets picked for Origin. In the forwards there, he is immense, right? We know what he can do. He can play your big minutes. He can contest these other big players that are happening in other teams when he's in games. He played for Australia in the Ashes. I just worry about such a big factor player like Tino, how long he can continue being on a poor team like the Titans. When does he get to a stage where he just gets another 15th place finish, like potentially this year, and he just goes, fuck this, I'm over it. I want to win. I want to win a premiership. There were big sort of hearings from the Ashes tour that Harry Grant and Tino were big besties hanging in the Ashes series. One would indicate maybe Harry Grant is trying to get him to come back down to Melbourne there. That's where he started his NRL career. Wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me. I honestly thought it was going to happen this offseason. It would not shock me if he has another poor year with the Titans if it happens at the end of this year, which would suck for the Gold Coast, right? Like, he is literally the heart and soul for the Titans. It's like some games where the Titans are getting flogged, and you just look at Tino and you're like, you're the only guy who actually is wanting to be out there now and actually is putting everything into this game right now. You're looking at, and that's 1 out of 13 players. It's just like, you just shake your head and you just go, why is this Titans team like this? Titans do not deserve a player like Tino. They don't, straight up. They are so fortunate to have a guy like Tino. Yes, he's getting paid the big bucks, but like, they don't deserve it. But if they can put it all together, maybe they can build something. Like, I just don't know where this team is heading. I think it may be that's why I think it'll be another struggle season. Just with a new coach, if he likes the system with Josh Hannay, maybe he stays to 2027. Maybe that's a year they make the finals. Potentially hasn't happened for quite a while now. But yeah, very interesting with Tino. I can't rate Tino highly enough, right? But I said, he deserves a better team. He deserves to make finals. We deserve to see Tino playing the big games, like your finals, like your Origins that he's played, like the Ashes series. He deserves to be playing finals there in September. Looking at the bench it's not too bad. It's okay. Got a lot of potential. Got a lot of young players happening there. You've rested your squad's not looking too bad. They've only named 25 of their 30 players, by the way. So there's definitely still like 5 players left to go that they haven't signed. I'm not sure who they'll be signing. I can confirm that later on. In your 14 role, got Chris Randall there. He guy can play. He can come in. He play a little bit in the middle. He can play a little bit of lock. Play a little bit of 9 if he needs to. Just feed the fucking ball to JC and AJ and Keanu Keeney. You'll have no issue whatsoever. Chris Randall, once he comes on, plays a 9. He does not need to do anything special at all. Make your tackles. Feed the ball to these other 3 guys. I think he'll be fine. Your 2 sort of replacement forwards, I've gone from Arama Howe, young guy coming through, really good talent. Hopefully he's finally getting his opportunity more off the bench now. Hopefully he can make a bit more of an impact. You got Josh Patson there, similar as well to Arama. In your 17 role, I've got the Doggies recruit Curtis Moran in there as well. Going to be a little handy player, Curtis Moran. I think, he can play a little bit of edge, he can play a little bit of lock, he can play a little bit of the middle. Maybe you can potentially, if there's an injury in the halves, maybe he can kind of stick in there. Maybe he can feed some ball at 9. Little handy replacement there for the Titans and Curtis Moran. Let's look at the rest of their squad, because you've got guys like your Luke Summerton there. You've got guys like Tui Simpkins, who played a little bit off the bench Titans last year. Shout out Nuff in Supercoach. You got, like I said, Lockie Elias there. Replacement half if needed. Jalen DeGroot there. Jalen DeGroot should only be there if there is an injury to Keanu Keeney, which I hope doesn't happen. The thing is, if a winger gets injured, do you stick in a guy like Jalen DeGroot? Do you get Tony Francis in there, who's had his up and downs? Do you get a guy like Alan Fitzgibbon in there, who I would love to see him get more games? He is an absolute weapon. Not related to Craig. I would love to see Alan get more games. And then the other one in the squad there is Brock Gray, who's, a handy little replacement, I guess, in the middle there. But this is what I'm saying is, if there's an injury to some key guys in this Titans team, which, if it's 3 or 4 games, maybe 5, maybe 6, I do worry about the Titans. If I've looked at the other team previews that I've done, they've got a bit of a more deep squad. I look at someone like the Warriors, and they seem to have replacements ready to go if there is injuries. Obviously, there's 5 more players to be signed for the Titans, right? It's not their full squad. But looking at what I have available to me now, I'm a bit worried. Can you trust Lockie Ellis to come and win games for you if JC gets injured or AJ? I'm not quite sure. Can you trust Jalen DeGroot to go and win you footy games if Keanu Kenny gets injured? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure. Like, do you trust Tony Francis or Alan Fitzgibbon on the wing if one of these wingers gets injured? Maybe. Maybe Alan. If the forward gets injured, how are they looking? Pretty busted, I think. Like, it's one of those things. I just don't think the squad is super deep at the moment. As said, they've only got 25 of their 30 players from what I could find in their top 30 at the moment. Let's have a look at their draw. Wow, long season preview for the Titans. Probably one of the longer ones I've done. I'll analyze the draw pretty quickly. A lot of these episodes have been anywhere from 20, 25, 30 minutes. This is clicking over 30 minutes now for the Gold Coast Titans. How bloody good. Looking at their draw. So they only have to play one top 14 twice. They have a pretty handy draw, actually. One top 14 twice. That's obviously the Broncos, the Queensland Derby. That is no surprises there. From 5th to 8th, they only have to play the Warriors and the Sharkies twice. So that means they miss out on playing Panthers and the Roosters twice, which I think works out really well for them. The other teams they have to play twice in the bottom 8 are the Dolphins. So another Queensland, other two Queensland teams, so Dolphins and the Cowboys. Then you've got the Knights. Then you got the Dragons, and then you got Manly as well. So don't have to play Souths twice. They don't have to play Eels twice. I think it's a very handy draw when you look at that, honestly. I said only have to play, obviously, you got 3 Queensland derbies. You got the Warriors, in which they won. Pretty sure they won in New Zealand last year. Obviously, they get a massive crowd in the Gold Coast for that game. Sharkies, you never know. But then you got Knights, Dragons, and Manly. Very potential winnable games. Like, they can easily win those games at home. Maybe they can win that in Sydney as well. They do have their first 3 games of the season on the road, which is a little bit tricky. That does mean they finish with their season, this last 8 games. 6 of them are at home, though. So you just never know the position they're in. Maybe they can come home really strong. They do play, so the top 4 teams, so they have to only play the Raiders, Bulldogs, and Storm once. The Raiders and the Bulldogs are at home as well, so they have to play the Storm on the road. And they've got the Panthers at home as well, and so they only have to play in the top 8. They only have to play the Roosters, the Storm, Broncos, Warriors, and the Sharks on the road. Literally, the one game they play against Roosters, the Storm, is on the road. They get Panthers and Doggies at home, and the Raiders. It's not a bad draw. They got the buys in round 8, round 13, and round 18, so pretty close together, but going to be a good buy to have after 7 rounds, sort of get into it. And then you got a couple in the origin period, and then you've got the full stretch near the end, where they're going to be all at home pretty much, 6 out of 8, as I said. So you just never know the ceiling. Look, I feel like we do this every year. Like, we look at Titans on paper, go like, you know what? They had the ceiling. They could go top 4 if it all clicks together. They could make top 8. But then, they got 16th last year. They had the worst defense in the comp, and you just go, and then you look and you go, oh yeah, it's the Titans. Like, why did we expect them to make top 4? This is my problem with Gold Coast. They're such a bloody hard team to pick. I just think with Josh Hannay, and I love Josh Hannay, I just think it will take a while for their systems to get going. I think they'll get blown out in definitely a few games early in the season. I think there's potential in that last 8 games, where there's 6 games at home, they could potentially win all those 6 games at home. And I think you'll actually start to see a bit of hopefully an identity with the Titans, which would be good to see. They need more crowd. They need more fans there. They need more passion. They need more people looking at the Titans and going, okay, maybe there's something building there. At the moment, majority of NRL fans look at the Titans and just go, meh, not a big club. Nothing happening there. Not too dangerous. Crap defense kind of thing. It's not the mantra that Gold Coast should have, in my opinion. It's not why we brought them into the comp nearly 20 years ago. But as I said, that will do it for the Titans season preview for 2026. Looked at their 2025 recap, their gains and losses for the year going into this year. Looking at their best 1 to 17 on paper, and the rest of their squad if they cop injuries, which I am a little bit worried about. Then going through their draw, which I would probably rate. I didn't actually have it in my top 4 when I did the draw video a month ago. It would be definitely up there looking at it now. don't have to play too many top 4 teams twice, and they got a lot of the better teams, dangerous teams, actually at home, which favors them. And they come home strong. 6 of the last 8 are home games too. So that will do it for this episode of the Squishy Sport podcast, previewing the Titan season of 2026. Remember to give us a massive like on YouTube and to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you flick over, go watch the Dragons preview as well. If you just watched the Dragons preview, make sure to go back and watch the other 8 team previews I've done for the season as well. We're literally just over 4 weeks away from the first preseason game. Cannot bloody wait. But thank you so much for watching, and cheers.